Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Coach Tiffany Parra, editor in chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. We made it, y'all. It's Friday. Happy Friday. It is Fitness Friday. It is Fabulous Friday. It is Featured Business Friday here at Phoenix Fitness Fanatics. We're taking center stage on the Own It magazine and publishing platform with an amazing young woman today. She is a holistic health counselor. She's certified. She is a biodynamic breathwork and trauma release system specialist. So let me just go ahead and bring her on in. This is my sister from another mister, I tell you. Hold on, let's bring her on in. Oh, there we
Yes,
go.
I'm here.
Welcome, welcome. How are
Oh,
you, April? Oh
I
my
am
goodness, I'm so excited.
amazing, Tiffany. How can I not be amazing with you being in the room,
Oh,
right? It's
I
that
appreciate
energy, it's that
you.
vitality that you just, you know,
Oh,
radiate out into the world. So this is your
thank you
Phoenix
so much.
fire for sure.
I absolutely appreciate you. And I'm just, again, so excited. So just tell our audience a little bit about you and a little bit of your background, what you do and where you're from, all that good stuff.
That's just so much stuff, right? So I'm April Wyett, and I'm a holistic health counselor. And so I didn't start my journey this way, though. Right? It's interesting, isn't it, Tiffany? Is you've started your journey in other ways, and where you're at now, and I think that's what's important for everybody to remember, that right where we're at isn't the end. It's not the finish line, as you would say, probably. And it's all about being curious more about ourselves, and leaning and listening, right, for those subtle nudges. Or maybe it might not be a nudge, might be a big shift in our lives, and we're wondering what is going on. So that's kind of what happened with me. I am married to an amazing man. He's a veteran of 26 years in the Navy. So I was married since I was 19. So I followed him everywhere, and I would just pick up jobs here and there. And it wasn't until he was going into his retirement years that I decided to go back to school, that I wanted something more for myself. I didn't know what that was. I just trusted in it.
Yeah.
And at that time, I started also leaning into holistic wellness. So, learning about Reiki, learning about how to help support the mind and body, and the emotional states, right? For
Mhm.
myself first. That's what I always work from, is how can this support me? And then I offer that to other people. So, working from that, I was able to go to Drake University, a free ride, because I opened an email one day that I would
Wow.
have never opened, from military.gov. Yeah, it sounds very boring. That's why I would never open them. But in the subject line, it said, You and your dependents can receive, college credit, or receive support, right? Like a September 11th GI Bill. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Receive support to go back to college. And I thought, hey, now is my time. So I did that, and I absolutely loved it. I surprised myself, because I think, being older and more focused on what we're
Hmm.
wanting, then I was able to really get into sociology and psychology, because I love understanding why people behave the way they do.
Right.
Right? Why are we are so behavior orientated? And I was very curious about that. And then with my energy practice, it made a lot of sense, especially in my health psychology class, when they were talking about disease showing
Mm.
up in the body in different areas, and why this was, and of course the science, they have to show these proven hard facts. But energy wise, it's like, well, when we're shut down, when our hearts are closed,
Hmm.
when we don't feel safe, when we're in that fear, then that's when we those it starts to build up, the tensions, we hold it, and then the body needs somewhere or somehow to shift it, and so it shows up as disease. And this isn't any, you know, woo-woo stuff. It's shown now in science. It really is. So then
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense when I shifted away from working nonprofit with at-risk youth,
Hmm.
and that's older youth, getting them work ready, getting them ready for that. I realized I wanted to work with people who are ready to show up to be healed.
Mm.
And so shifting away from that aspect into my own business, then that's when I started working in correctional facilities, and I started offering wellness. Like, let's understand what's happening because of the ACEs, because of the adverse
Mm.
childhood experiences that we all have had. It doesn't
Right.
matter if you're in prison or if you're on Wall Street, everybody's had adversity in their
Mhm.
lives.
Right.
And so walking them through just a quick square breathing exercise and watching the looks, and this is women and men in separate facilities, of course,
Hmm.
just the looks on their faces of what just happened. Because I believe that in utero, right,
Hmm.
our nervous system is already being set.
Right.
If our mother isn't feeling safe, if the environment isn't safe, or the emotions or the thoughts that she keeps thinking, we're receiving that.
Hmm.
And so these courageous people that were going to be returning citizens, that were going to be in a work program, walking them through that box breath, they experience being in the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest. That's where we can relax.
Mm.
And a lot of them were kind of very surprised and a little unnerved, because it was like, I feel so calm. I have to keep my guard up. Otherwise, something bad's going to happen to me. So, even thinking about that and the conditioning of the mind,
Hmm.
right? That is what led me to the biodynamic breathwork and trauma release system. And I found it online, and it's not a weekend. You get your certificate and you're certified. No, this is uh, like over 1,000 hours I had to do. And in person, I worked with Gitan. Tone Coffee is the founder of BBTRS. I'm all about the quality, not about
Hmm.
the quantity. I want to learn from directly from the source. I want to be in that environment and understand more about myself in the process,
Right.
and then take it to others who are willing to be open to receive more of themselves. So that's just a little in the nutshell of kind of how I got to where I am. And you know what? The journey isn't over, right?
Right.
It's not over, We're meant to
Yes.
evolve, we're meant to explore. So, very excited to share this with you and your community.
Oh, I just love that. And I love that you walk the walk and talk the talk. It's you've done the work so you can actually take it to others and really be able to show them how it's done. And that's, even through my own journey, releasing that weight, being able to, show up and show people how to keep it off, right? It definitely makes that impact there. So what makes this breath work different? Because I know there's a lot of different breath work. We go through, I've been
So,
through a couple of different classes, and you try to figure out what's right for you and everything. So what makes the breath work practice different, this one different from others?
yeah, that's a great question, because there is a lot of breath work. It's kind of like a heightened thing now, right? Like breath work,
Right.
and it is more of an embodied practice with the biodynamic breath work and trauma release. So it's being able to be with your body and breathe and witness what's showing up. what's happening for you, not to you, right? It's for you, and it's very interesting to even think of that, because a lot of people, are so up in their heads or their minds
Mm-hmm.
about the body is something that's mechanical, that I need to do something to make it look a certain way. Although when we are with our body and feeling into it, this is where we start to lean in and listen, because our body's communicating to us every moment of every day. And it all starts with, most of the time, unless it's PTSD, that just kind of comes from the body. But when I'm talking about just kind of regular everyday, most of the time it's from the mind, right? We have a thought. We have a thought. And depending on what that thought is, right, our brain, the physical brain, is going to release chemicals,
Mm-hmm.
right? Cortisol, if it's the stress and the overwhelm and all that, or maybe if it's happy, light, joy, right? That's the endorphins, that's the high, that's the excitable. And so when you're aware of your thoughts, that's what's really important, So in this breathwork process, we, of course, want I want my clients to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When we feel safe, we're going to be more open, more receptive, more curious about
Right.
what's happening in our bodies and why things are showing up. We don't have to go into the story with the biodynamic breath work. You can express, like, oh, I'm noticing this tension in my shoulder and it reminds me of the time of blank, but we don't
Mm-hmm.
have to go down the rabbit hole of the story for sure. And being that I am that safe person, that I guide them through the whole session, which usually takes about, it could take anywhere from 75 to 90 minutes. And it's important, though, with the biodynamic breathwork, what makes it different is that we actually find a resource, that safety within the body.
Mm-hmm.
Or if the person has been through a lot of trauma to where the body doesn't feel safe, that's okay. We can find an external resource. So it could be their pet, it could be a piece of artwork, it could be a memory that they have from being in a peaceful location, such as hiking in the mountains or at the beach. Just even thinking about that, right? That kind of puts that, oh, yeah, our cells remember that, with that memory, because our minds are so powerful. And then we go through the breath work and the process. So there's a lot to unpack there. Um, but the big thing about the BBTRS and what makes it different is that resourcing. So that way, when we are in the breathing, the connected breath, it kind of brings us to the little bit of outer edges of that sympathetic nervous system. Feel a little lightheaded. You might feel more activated, the tensions and things.
Mm-hmm.
Breathing into that, recognizing, movement is part of it. Touch. I guide people in person or online where to touch for those acupressure points, and allowing emotions to come through. That's so important with our healing, because we tend to bottle everything in.
Right.
And then also part of it is the integration. So that's where we go more into a meditation at the end, just to witness what's happening with the body. But what we do a series of 2 or 3 rounds to where we pendulate from that activation. So we feel the tension, we know it's there, we accept that it's there. That's a big thing. And then pendulate into that resource. And then it's more of, oh, I hold both.
Mm.
I hold both a resource and tensions in my body. But where am I focusing on throughout the day? This is why I'm bringing it back to the mind and the thoughts, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I had an incident. Well, my wonderful puppy dog had an incident with my left leg, and he ran into it very hard, my left knee. to where I'm going through physical therapy, but I'm not focused on the pain. I'm focusing on I'm flexible. You
Right.
know, I tell
Mhm.
myself, my knee's talking to me right now. It might not be very happy, but that's okay because I know my body's powerful and it can heal, as you know
Right.
from
Yes.
your own experience, Tiffany. You have an
Yes.
incredible story.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that's what sets BBTRS, the biodynamic breath work and trauma
Yes.
release, apart from the other breath work. And it's also having trauma informed practitioners such as myself to walk people through what they're experiencing, asking them to lean in and listen a little bit more, because this
Yeah.
is where the healing is.
Right. And our body tells us everything.
It does.
Everything. You just have to listen, and we just get so caught up in everything. And I just a little bit of, some of my journey, just as you mentioned too, I was having neuropathy in my feet. I was having numbness and tingling and stuff in my feet,
Mhm.
and just totally dismissed it as, oh well, you know what? It was probably because I just was sitting too long today. And no, it was because I was diabetic. My blood sugar
Mhm.
was completely off, and my body was giving me those signs. So when you listen to your body, listen to
Mhm.
your heart, I mean, you can tell so much just from taking time just to be quiet. And I want to dig in even deeper with this breath work with you, because I want to see what comes up, because I know we tend to hide things in our body and
Mhm.
bury things, very deeply. So
Yes.
we need something like this so we can start to feel those things and start to let them go, because
Mm.
again, sometimes they're just a little deep. And oh yeah,
Exactly.
we're definitely gonna
And
have to dig.
we can talk about like, "Oh, just let it go, just let it go." And yeah, our minds will let it go, but our bodies remember the trauma. Bessel van der Kolk, he wrote the book, A Body Keeps the Score. He did research with veterans with extreme PTSD,
Mm,
and that's also, noted in Gitan Tonkoff's book, Feel to Heal, which gives the science, it gives the physiological aspects, it gives the mental and emotion aspects, and breaks down BBTRS, and even gives like a guide in the back of the book. So if anybody's out there that's curious about it, Feel to Heal, I strongly recommend to read that because it is in the fascia. It memories and traumas are held in the fascia, and until we can learn how to be with our body and organically allow that to release,
right.
it no longer exists. It does not, because energy cannot be created or destroyed, only
Mhm.
transformed, right? So
Right.
that locked in tension, that feeling in your shoulders, your lower back, hip flexors, especially for women, uh,
Mhm.
the sacral area, it's holding
Yes.
all that. Just leaning in and listening and finding ways to move the body and breathe with it really does help to alleviate those tensions, emotions, and sensations that are coming up.
Gotta let it go, people. Gotta let it go. So I know we've talked before. We have kind of a similar situation where, we're kind of nomads, and I know you travel a little bit, as well, and you're doing so much, April. So tell me, how do you find balance in it all? I know I mean,
Mhm.
you teach this, the breath work, things like that, but what does self-care look like for you, and how do you really truly find balance in all of this?
Mm. I've learned to kind of shift the script about how I talk to myself. And so instead of saying finding balance, I find cohesiveness. Find something that feels better than where I'm at, if I feel that I'm at the other end of the stick, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So it's about, okay, meditation. Meditation is huge for me. applying my Reiki practice in the morning with my meditation. For those who meditation, they cannot sit still, right?
Mm.
Going out for a walk. I love walking in nature. I love being outside and just breathing in, even looking at the trees, at the colors, doing my best to keep out of the script of, oh, you need to do this and don't forget that. And oh, I wonder about that, those types
Right.
of things that kind of lead us down the rabbit hole. Being able to be in the world and not be affected by the external chaos.
Right. Yeah.
And it's very interesting that I say that because I was very proud. I'm going to share something really quick, and I hope my husband does not listen to this. Um, we just moved into a townhome. That can be huge stress,
Yeah.
right? Moving, as you know, Tiffany, moving from one location, downsizing, shifting, all the things, the dynamics of
Mm-hmm.
the whole environment. And something happened to where my husband missed a phone call, and it was a very important phone call for him. And he missed it because he wears hearing aids, and his one hearing aid he had to send in to get repaired. And so he only has one in, and the one was over here, the phone was ringing over there. The hearing aid syncs to his phone so he can hear. He
Mm-hmm.
missed the call. We'd just been moving. It was a big, a lot of day, right? A lot of things
Mm.
happening that day. And he just had a fit, literally. Like I don't think I've ever seen him behave that way. And
Wow.
he was pounding his fists on the, rah, 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 and all this
Yeah.
stuff, and rah, rah, and I was sitting in this room and I just took a breath and I was like, wow, he's having a fit right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 5 years ago, or maybe 2 years ago, I would have tried to run in there and say, oh, it's going to be okay. Or what can I do? Or, right. Trying to fix him. But it was more of, oh, I'm witnessing him being a 5-year old having a tantrum.
Right.
That's where he was right then. And that's okay. I didn't have any
Right.
judgment or anything. I was like, oh, okay, that's what's happening. Okay, well, I got to go. I hope things work out. And I have a
Right.
client I have to see. And then I told myself, oh, he'll be better when I got back. And he was,
Yeah.
because it's that emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
The drop in the bucket, right? What we
Right.
do, what we say, how we're giving ourselves self-care to find that cohesiveness, to bring
Right.
ourselves back to us, to our body.
Mm-hmm.
This is a most valuable resource. This is what is going to help shift those chemicals. This is what builds resiliency to those stressful situations, to where you can become more an observer like I did. It was like, oh, okay. And then you see people on TV or you see people in the world behaving that way. And it's like, okay, they're having a moment.
Right.
Doesn't have anything to do with me.
But everybody's always reacting to it,
Yeah,
right? So I
it's
commend
it's a
you
need.
for
It's,
just, observing, right? Because it
yeah,
could have, I feel like if you would have said something, it could have been, even if you're going in to help, it could still turn into a negative
it
sometimes.
is. It,
So
it always
it,
is because it's from that I have to fix that person, or
hmm
I'm feeling uncomfortable because of their behavior. So I
right.
need to do this to make myself comfortable.
hmm
So if it's
hmm
nothing that's happening right here and now with our physicality, yeah, you can. And it's interesting, right? Even with children, that we teach them by our behaviors.
Right. Yeah.
So just by stepping back and, oh, you're having a fit in the store,
Okay.
I'm just going to keep walking.
And do you notice? I've noticed people do that before. I have noticed like moms, and they'll keep walking, and
Yeah,
all of a sudden you see the child just kind of stop.
they
They
do.
think about it, and then they run after the mom.
They look around like, what?
Right.
Nobody's taking care. And it's like, well, where's my mom? Yeah, exactly. And then that way we, let because we do. We're the ripple effect.
Right. Yeah. Just let it happen, let it
Yeah,
be. And you keep your own peace as well.
exactly.
But
You're
yeah.
in traffic. It happens every day. Instead of thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a grind or a meeting, right? Or
Right.
something like that. This is going to be horrible and this is the same. And that person's going to say the same thing or they're going to do whatever. Projecting that out, guess what? You're going to receive more of that.
Exactly.
So when we can just sit back and just be the observer and, maybe even play a little funny song in our head,
Right. I give people theme songs, it's quite
Yes,
funny.
it is. Yeah, I love that you get it. I love that you get it,
Yes.
Tiffany. It's so true.
So tell us, so what is what shifts have you noticed in your clients? Give us some examples of
Mm.
some people that you've worked with, and just kind of what they've received through working with you.
Yeah, I love that question because just going off of what we were just talking
Yeah.
about, yeah, recently I had a business professional, um, and she came to me because she had Reiki in the past, but she felt like every time she went into work, like she was very heightened,
Mm,
and things were shifting at her work. They were changing locations, they were letting people go. So there was that kind of a little bit of uncertainty. Even though she wasn't fearful for her own position being lost, it was more about things shifting around her. So with the breath work, she realized, oh, I have this sanctuary of support. I have this resource within me. And she actually started using that when she would go into work. I love it when people actually do the homework,
mm-hmm.
right? It's like going to a massage therapist, like, oh, I feel so tight and tense. I need to make that spa appointment. I need to do this. You go in, they massage the muscles. You're like, oh, this feels so good. And then you leave. And then what do you do after that, right? It's the
Right.
same thing, right? The muscles are going to tense back up because that's what they
Mm-hmm.
do. So when you apply what you're learning really and cognitively, right? This is that emotional intelligence.
Right.
Then you build that resiliency to stress. So she said, I'm just very curious because I keep reminding my clients too, have that curiosity of why
Right.
people behave the way they do. You really don't know their story.
Yeah.
Your mind likes to fill in the gaps, but that's an illusion. It's not true. We really don't
Mm-hmm.
know. And so when you become curious, you see more or you see it in a different light. And she said, it was just so funny to me. I just started giggling because of these two other gals. We're all
Yeah.
chatty and gossipy and like the water cooler type of,
Right.
environment. And she said, and I would just walk on by because that was none of my business. And so she, after her sessions, was like, I feel like a different person, And so that is just, it really warms my heart,
Yeah.
knowing that I am the ripple effect too as I'm sharing this and people are witnessing and noticing. Even if it's very subtle, it's still on a cellular level,
Right.
it's working deeper. We
Mm-hmm.
just get the end result up here in the mind. So
Right.
we're really working on a cellular level with any type of energy work, physical work, your cells, your body's responding. And
Right.
as you well know, Tiffany, it takes time for it to manifest in the material, but it's already happening
Right.
energetically in our bodies. It's already transforming. We just have to keep that momentum up, keep that inspiration, keep that curiosity.
Right. Yes. You can create anything.
You can.
So, what would you say would be the biggest challenge for you in just doing what you do?
Hmm. Let's see here. What would be the biggest challenge? I believe that a challenge for what I have experienced in the past is people being open,
Mhm. Yeah.
people being ready to show up to do the work and not want a quick fix.
Mhm.
This is deeper work. Yes, if you want to read self-help books and you find that inspiration, great, right? It's just on a different level. It's on a different space. And
Yeah.
some people are ready for it, some people aren't.
Right.
Maybe yoga, moving the body and breathing is more your speed than breath work. And that's okay too. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, oh, you got to do breath work or, nothing's any good. I'm not
Right.
saying that at
Right.
all. I want people to find something that works for them, but also be open to discovering more about themselves, because wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
Ooh, I
doesn't
love
matter if you're at
that.
work,
There
if
you
it's a
are.
home life, or whatever you're doing, you are that's all you. And you're responsible for what you're receiving. And some people might not like to hear that, but guess what? Guess what? You have a choice.
Yeah, you do.
You can choose you.
Yeah. And remember, like you said, it may not happen overnight. You
Right.
have to practice. It's
Yes.
just like working out. You're
Yes.
not going to hit the gym for one day and think that you're going to hit your goal weight. You're going to have to do it consistent
Yeah.
over and over again. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? And I
Yes.
think with this, especially because you are dealing with energy and emotion and,
Mhm.
having to let go of, certain things, some people are not ready,
Mhm.
and
Or
I,
maybe also they've never ever have experienced that. So they have no idea. And so then that creates that uncertainty or no, that's not for me kind of
right.
thing.
Yeah.
But that curiosity, being curious of, I
Yeah.
wonder just how I can breathe a little deeper right now. I
Yeah.
wonder if I can feel my feet right now, as you said earlier, Tiffany,
Yep.
and pretend like I can breathe through my feet
Right.
up to the top of
Ooh.
my head.
Mm.
Just as kids,
Yeah.
we have such an amazing curiosity and imagination. We can imagine anything. But the
Anything.
older we get, we're taught, nope, there's no time for play, unless it's here and real, it's not true, that type of thing. So it's about also the unlearning and learning at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's talk about the breathing as well, because
Mm.
I always hear we don't breathe correctly, right? So you're breathing when you're breathing, it's like your chest, right? Your chest is just going up and down.
Usually it's the
So
upper, yeah,
right. So
upper
let's
chest.
let's share just a little bit with our audience about how you're supposed to truly breathe through
Mm,
that diaphragm.
yeah,
And like, if can you share a little bit of that with our audience, because
I
I
would
want them
love
just to really
to.
know this is how you're supposed to breathe, and
Yeah.
let's give them something that they can take with them.
Thank you. Thank you for that invitation. So if people are driving, you can do your best, right? But those who are seated in a place where you feel safe, I invite you to just sit back. Well, sit up front, sit more up in your in your chair, but take a step back from your device. I want you to look away, not look at me or the beautiful Tiffany here, but look away from your device at the wall, out a window, maybe at some art or something, and just focus on your breathing. Where is your breath right now? How is that breathing flowing in through your nose, down through your throat, into your chest? Where are you feeling that expansion? If it's in your upper chest, that's fine. We're just focusing on where that breath is right now. Just breathing in and expanding a little deeper. And when you do that, I invite you to envision like you have an inner tube around your midsection, right around your belly. And as you breathe in, breathe down a little deeper, expanding that inner tube all the way around you through your nose, and then exhale out through your mouth, all the way out till you feel that you don't have any air left. And now a deeper breath in through the nose, expanding, belly breath, right? You're finding your belly kind of sticking out a little bit. That's great. And exhaling, letting that all out. One more time, and bringing that down like you can breathe down into your tailbone, right? So breathing in, expanding all the way around down into your tailbone the best you can, and exhaling all the way out. And keeping that gaze away. Now back to normal breath. How are you feeling now? Is there a lightness? Maybe there's a little bit of a calm. Maybe you feel heavy because you're actually in your body right now. And I want everybody to hear this, that, we can go weeks without food, days without water, but it's only the moments without the breath. This is our true life force energy. Our lungs do so much for ourselves. It detoxifies, right? They detoxify. We don't sweat 24/7. We're not using the bathroom 24/7. It's through our breathing. So when we can pause and just kind of, you can figuratively or literally step back, right, from a situation and feel your feet on the floor, be more, right, in your body, and just taking that nice deeper breaths. Nobody needs to know what you're doing. Nobody will even notice what you're doing. I guarantee you. They're too busy in their own heads about what they're doing and what they're going to say and this, that, and the other. But when
Right.
we are in the present moment and taking that nice full body breath, that breaks the cycle of those ruminating thoughts. That switches on to that parasympathetic nervous system I was talking about earlier. So important for our rest and digest.
Ooh, and I'm still feeling light from that little breath work there, everybody. I like whoever, if you're listening, if you're catching the replay, I hope you tried that. I hope you did that with us, and I hope that you
Yeah.
had got. I mean, I even felt a little tingly a little bit, as well.
Good.
So
There's some activation there for sure. Yes, and
that's
everything that I work with, I absolutely built my foundation, from energy, from spirit, from God, whatever you believe your higher power to be.
yes,
That's where I connect to, and Reiki really helped me to amplify that. And so when I work with people, I ask them permission immediately. May I support you with Reiki? And that way they feel a little bit more relaxed. They know that they're receiving a deeper support on an energetic level.
right, yeah. Oh, Reiki's great. It is so amazing. So,
Yes.
April, how can anyone that is catching our live or our replay, how can they connect with you if they are interested in learning more about breath
Mm.
work, if they're learning, if they want to, get coaching, how can they connect with you? Events, because I know you got events coming up. She does
Oh,
retreats as well, everyone. So,
yes,
yeah.
yes. I have two amazing, may I just share just a little
Yes,
bit?
please do.
So I have a Tomo tour. Speaking of Reiki, I have a Tomo tour coming up. Tomo in Japanese means friend. So I lived in Japan for 10 years. And so I'm taking a group of people from the US, and there is one from Europe that's actually coming as well, to Japan. And we're going to experience the culture. We're going to Tokyo. We're going to take the Shinkansen, the bullet train, down to Kyoto and climb Mount Kurama, which is the birthplace of Reiki. I have a special guide that I've connected with that works with William Lee Rand, who is the founder of the International Center for Reiki Training here in the US. And she's actually lives in Japan. So I'm so, and so many other things. And you get to meet my Japanese friends, which I'm very excited for. Just bridging the gap, right? We all want more joy, more vitality in our lives. And this Tomo tour is near and dear to my heart. You don't have to know Reiki, you don't have to be attuned to it. Just being open to explore with us is enough. And so you can find that on my website too. I'll give you the links too for that, Tiffany, to add in the description. And then also and that's in October of this year, October 1st through the 10th. So it's a 10-day excursion. It's going to be amazing. And then next year, October, excuse me, 11th through the 17th, I am going back to Bali.
Oh,
I am
wow.
offering the restorative retreat again. People have been reaching out and asking for it, and that includes all the things that I love. So, this is about movement meditation with music. So, you're not just sitting still for hours, right? You're moving with music, we're dancing, we're experiencing breath work. I'm offering restorative Reiki meditations. And what's most important, just like the Tomo tour, is we're getting out and we're seeing the culture of
Yes.
Bali. We're going on a waterfall tour. We're going
Oh
to a
my gosh, I'm
3,000-year-old temple on the northern shore of Bali for a water purification.
mm.
It's
Oh, that sounds
just
amazing.
it's just amazing, and I absolutely am thrilled to offer this again. It is a 6-night, 7-day immersion, like,
Oh,
ready to show up, ready to explore, ready to have some fun, right, as we're doing all
yes.
of these things. So, that's what I get to do. This is my life, and I'm pretty happy about it.
Oh, I love it. And I'm happy for you. I'm happy with you. I mean, you have such exciting things going on. Bali sounds amazing. The Tomo tour sounds amazing as well. Everyone tap in. Seriously, tap into the things that April has going on. She just has such amazing energy, and you're going to want to get more of that right now in the climate that we're in. We need more good energy, good positive energy. So definitely, connect with April as
Yeah,
well. Connect with her
but
on LinkedIn, Facebook,
yes,
all the socials, and definitely get to know her because she is just
yes.
amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany. And that's livingwithintention.co. So it's not no M at the end. That's all I have to say. So it's livingwithintention.co. And I would absolutely love to hear from you, hear just about your own experiences too. And I also offer a complimentary biodynamic breathwork session to see if that's a good fit for you. So that's what I'm all about. I also have a free restorative meditation with Reiki the first Thursday of each month, and you'll find that under my events on my website.
Awesome, very good. And we're going to have April in our August edition of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics. So I just got all her information, and you'll be able to tap into her there as well. So very, very exciting. So, April, I just want to thank you so much for coming and joining me today on our Phoenix Fitness Fanatics featured business spotlight. I just adore you. I adore everything that you are doing out there. I can't wait to meet you in person just so I can give you just such a big hug, because I know when you get two dynamic, energetic people together, it is just phenomenal. So, is there any words of wisdom, words of encouragement that you'd like to give
Mm.
our audience before we close up today?
Yes, I would love to share for people to just, and there's no pun intended, take a breath. There's really nothing serious happening here. This is just temporary, whatever you're experiencing right now. Although your mind might think otherwise, just learn to shift that script and keep living with intention.
Yes, love that. Love that. Well, thank you so much, April. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Have an amazing weekend. Have an awesome week next week. And we'll see y'all next time. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Be well.